Welcome to Opinion Journal. I'm Mary Kissel. More violence in Egypt today as the army and the Muslim Brotherhood battled in other cities such as Alexandria. Is the country tipping into civil war? Hudson Institute research fellow Sam Tadros joins me now from Washington. Sam, echoes of Algeria in the 1990s?
Well, certainly that's the worst case scenario that one is hoping to avoid in Egypt. But it certainly looks like the military strategy is unintentionally leading to that situation. The military is particularly, besides the level of violence that we're seeing, is targeting the leadership of the Muslim Brotherhood by attempting to separate the leadership, imprisoning them from the mass following of the movement, hoping that such an action would make the members go home. The problem is, with the current structure of the Muslim Brotherhood, without its leaders, without the leaders that would be able to direct the members, we might get a situation of loose members. We know about 500,000 of them exist in Egypt, where each of them would act on his own, and thus the potential of violent acts, terrorism, would be extremely high.
Sam, are you surprised at the protesters' tenacity here? They're effectively running into bayonets when they run into these squares in Cairo.
Yes, the Muslim Brotherhood strategy is in a sense martyrdom, and they realize that they cannot beat the military's guns. The only option is to force the military to stop. They can do so either by the world being involved, putting pressure on the Egyptian military, whether it's the US or other Western forces, or by gaining sympathy inside the country, or the third option, forcing the military by shooting so much that they would force some forms of mutiny and disorder inside the Egyptian armed forces.
But why kill these protesters, Sam? Why not just detain them, jail them, do something that would avoid the kind of, really mass bloodshed that we've seen in these last hours?
Yeah, a number of things. First, the level of training that the Egyptian security forces has is not that high. These people are trained perhaps to fight wars, but they're not trained into how to actually disperse a crowd without shooting people and killing them. So there's a level of incompetence there. It's also important to note that this is a life and death battle, not only for the Muslim Brotherhood, but more importantly for the military's generals. There's no way out for them. Either they win this and end the Brotherhood, or the Brotherhood wins and they end up hanged, if not in jail.
Are there any indications of General Sisi's intentions, the man really behind this bloody crackdown?
It's quite obvious that he's not interested in a political solution for the problem in Egypt. Both sides seem to ignore the fact that there is a political problem, that members of the Muslim Brotherhood won't disappear, that Morsi cannot return from power from the side of the Brotherhood, meaning that both sides have to offer compromise, offer some concessions in order to reach a deal. Each of them not realizing that Egypt cannot be governed by removing completely the other side. So General Sisi doesn't seem to get this at the moment. He seems to going for brokes, basically, and attempting to crush the Brotherhood using violence.
Sam, what are the lessons that should be learned from the Algerian conflict in the 90s, if that is, as you described, where Egypt is heading?
It's one hopes that some people are learning something from that scenario, and the fact that there is this need to compromise. Members of the Muslim Brotherhood will not simply disappear from the country. They continue. The movement is a very old movement. 80 years has been to massive support in the country through their social network, through their religious message. They won't disappear. They also have to understand that they face today a growing resentment by a huge segment, if not a majority, of the Egyptian people. So the lesson for both sides must be that Egypt is too large to be ruled by one party, and that they both need to reach some form of deal on it.
Egypt is too large to be ruled by one party, but it doesn't look like there's going to be compromise anytime soon. Hudson Institute research fellow Sam Tadros, the author of Motherland, thank you so much for being on the show.